This House adopts the report of the Select Committee on Parliamentary Broadcasting and Library on enhancing reporting of parliamentary business on online platforms, laid on the table of the House on Wednesday, 4th October 2023. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, I had promised you that I will allow you 1 hour to ventilate the issue of NGCDF, and I will invite your leaders, starting with the Majority Leader on NGCDF judgment, and then followed by the Minority Leader. If we can give them 5 minutes each, then the rest of the members, you can take 2 minutes each. Is that okay? If we say 5 and you have 1 hour, very few will speak. So let's do 3. Kimani Ichung'wah, you can go with 5 minutes. Junet, be ready with 5 minutes.
From it, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, when I read that judgment, I could not help myself but clearly see that this was more of a political judgment than a legal judgment, Honorable Speaker. The judges pronounce themselves, the politics in that judgment, Honorable Speaker, and claims speaks volumes that there is duplication of functions between interpretation of the law and the county government, Honorable Speaker. Reading plain English. That is a language spoken by the Council of Governors, Honorable Speaker. And we should not lie to ourselves, Speaker, who has also the judges are simply saying on the bench the Council of Governors has been saying. When Honorable Speaker, judges when we crafted the NGCDF matters touching on CDF and claimed that the NGCDF Act was very particular that NGCDF and the county government, Honorable Speaker, particular functions. That is a language education by the Council of Governors, Honorable Speaker. Early childhood education, and we should not lie to ourselves. That is a function that belongs to the judges, and there is not a single constituency, Honorable Speaker, that I know of governors has been saying where NGCDF money is utilized when we crafted the NGCDF or to take care of all CDF classrooms in our primary schools, Honorable Speaker. The NGCDF Act was very particular that NGCDF touched on security, only serve and there is absolutely nothing that of education in the county government architecture childhood and the functions and the Schedule 4 that is a function that belongs to county governments and deal with matters single security. Honorable Speaker, that I know NGCDF that has helped NGCDF money is utilized in areas where either to construct or to take care of and even acts of terrorism, like in our primary schools, Lamu and other areas, Honorable Speaker. The other function of NGCDF, it is through security NGCDF intervention and there is absolutely nothing and police stations in the county government architecture, the national government in dealing with matters in security. Where the county governments, even in those very dangerous areas, go to the NGCDF that has held northeastern Kenya, even in areas where a single county government involved insecurity work of terrorism, like in Rumours and other areas, Honorable Speaker, and parts of Northern Kenya. To plead to our judiciary, NGCDF intervention to establish police posts and police stations. No reason as judges that we have to seem popular with national government in dealing with matters of security. The county governments, even in those that very dangerous areas, go to popularity contest Eastern Kenya. For judges who pronounce themselves government involved in security work, Honorable Speaker. But may it be known to them, because I see my time is over, that without NGCDF, to our judiciary, Honorable Speaker, there are children in this country who will never access education to from the bursaries they get from NGCDF, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, there are children in this country, Honorable Speaker, who years ago, without CDF, a popularity was studying under trees without judges who pronounce themselves, Honorable Speaker, recent floods of NGCDF. Many of us, but may it be known to them, either classrooms or even that without NGCDF, there are children in this country who will never access education from the bursaries they get from NGCDF. That was swept away by floods. There are children in this country, Honorable Speaker, who years ago, without children who will not be in school today, Honorable Speaker, studying under trees we have without classrooms. Court of Appeal, Honorable Speaker, and all the way to the Supreme Court, Honorable Speaker. Many of us, and we also have a chance to correct what we need to correct from this house, because we are the law-making house. If we have to recraft another NGCDF Act, let us do it, Honorable Speaker. If we have to anchor NGCDF as we proposed under the NADCO bills without the Constitution, it is high time we now anchor NGCDF, not for the sake of members of Parliament, but for the sake of the people and we represent those people who have no voice. And we also have a chance to correct what we need to correct from this house, because we are the law-making house. Let us ask our judges to drop the politics, leave NGCDF alone, and allow the children of Kenya to access education as we proposed under the NADCO bills. In the Constitution, it is high time to live in a country where they are secure. NGCDF, not for the sake of members of Parliament, but for the sake of the people we represent. Those people who have no voice if we don't speak to them. Those people who judges cannot hear unless we speak to the judges. Let us ask our judges to drop the politics. Leave NGCDF alone and allow the children of Kenya to access education, allow the people of the North Rift, allow those who are terrorized by terrorists to live in a country where they are secure.
Other than hatred that they have for members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, when I read the judgment, I can't agree, Mr. Speaker, of the court, the majority leader, that this is a political judgment. I was shocked, Mr. Speaker, because Mr. Speaker, there is no act of Parliament. The same act was subjected to litigation, Mr. Speaker, more than and the CDF at that time they were saying that Parliament basically is dividing the revenue who hate members of Parliament. National government revenue, county government revenue, and the CDF that they have for members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Subsequently, this House did an amendment. And when I saw the division of revenue, when I read the judgment where the money was divided between the county government and the national government, and the CDF was put under the national government, Mr. Speaker. The same act was subjected to litigation, Mr. Speaker, that is getting an allocation from the national budget of the national government, the revenue, Mr. Speaker, into three. National government revenue, county government revenue, and the CDF, Mr. Speaker. That one of the reasons why subsequently this House did an amendment act is unconstitutional is because Parliament passes 7 names. Money was divided between the county government and the national government. And the CDF was put under the national government, Mr. Speaker. There is no difference between a ministry that is getting an allocation from the national budget of the national government that the CDF, Mr. Speaker. We passed here even commission of I was shocked to see the judgment of the court. Communication authority, one of the reasons why they are saying this problem of passing names in constitution is because Parliament passes 7 names, Mr. Speaker, of members of the CDF committee, Mr. Speaker. How many names do we pass the manager? We pass even names of 5 years, which is equivalent to 5 years of county secretary, member of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. We pass names here. They are fund managers who have been in office for the last 20 years, Mr. Speaker. I don't know where the judges were reading, Mr. Speaker, whether they read the submissions communication authority, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, what is the problem of passing names here? Because the other thing that has shocked me about this judgment, Mr. Speaker, behaved as though they live in another country, Mr. Speaker. The term of the fund manager there was a barrier in my constituency, and I must say this, to 5 years judge, Mr. Speaker. And the funeral was conducted in a primary school. And those managers who have been novice for the last 20 years, Mr. Speaker. They were not built by county government, the judges were by anybody else. They were reading, Mr. Speaker. Whether they read the submissions, the way our lawyers, Mr. Speaker, has changed the lives of Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. Every person knows in this country, including judges. The judges, look, do they not go home? Do they not come from villages in this country, Mr. Speaker? Recently, there was a barrier in my constituency, and I must say this, of a judge, Mr. Speaker. From the floor of this House, Mr. Speaker. And the funeral was conducted in a primary constituency alone. And those classes were over 3 years by county government or built by anybody else. Children of single mothers, Mr. Speaker. Mr. Speaker, where do they expect us to take those children, Mr. Speaker? The lives of Kenyans, Mr. Speaker. The best thing I can do is to put those children in a bus and bring them to the homes of the judges, Mr. Speaker, so they can give them villages in this country. Those children can go back to school, Mr. Speaker. People, you can't make the floor of this House, from the floor of this House, Mr. Speaker. By just in my constituency alone, that does not make any sense, Mr. Speaker, according to me. And we are allowed to critique judgment, Mr. Speaker. They are children of single mothers. We must have our say here on this floor, Mr. Speaker. Where do they expect us to take those children, Mr. Speaker? I have been a believer. Me, the best thing I can do is to put those children in a bus and bring them to the homes of the judges, Mr. Speaker, so they can give them fees. That judiciary now is living in an ivory tower, and they must come down from that ivory tower, Mr. Speaker. The lives of Kenyans miserable. The problem in this country, a judgment that does not make any sense, Mr. Speaker, according to me. The other two arms of government, the executive and the legislature, we must have our say here on this floor, Mr. Speaker. Through elections after every 5 years. I have been a believer. Judges are never accountable to anyone. I have been a supporter of the independence of the judiciary, Mr. Speaker. Majority of the members are judges, Mr. Speaker. The judiciary now is living in an ivory tower, and they must come down from that ivory tower, Mr. Speaker. How do you want to make the lives of Kenyans so miserable by saying that CDF is not doing anything? The other two arms of government, the executive and the legislature, procured by the Council of Governors, Mr. Speaker. Accountability and it is out of through elections after every 5 years. Any other money. Judges are never accountable to anyone. Money they are accountable to themselves, to the constituencies, to the villages, Mr. Speaker. Of the and what is happening in devolution, you know all of us, and everybody in this country knows, and you retire, you are not accountable to anybody. How do you want to make the lives of Kenyans so miserable by saying that CDF is not doing anything? Speaker, that has touched the lives of Kenyans for the last judgment that has been procured by the Council of Governors, Mr. Speaker. And it is out of egos. They don't want any other money. They don't want any other money to come to the constituencies or to the villages, Mr. Speaker. And what is happening in devolution, the name of the fund is NGCDF, National Government, Mr. Speaker. You know, it's not county government, it's not judiciary fund, it's not parliamentary fund, it's not anybody's fund. It's the national government money that is going to the constituencies. So it can build schools, it can build classes, it can build police station, and they're saying there's duplication of functions. We don't do anything outside what the national government is doing. Security and education are not devolved functions. The name of the fund is don't do that. Will education improve? National government, Mr. Speaker. It's not county government. It's not judiciary fund. It's not parliamentary fund. It's not anybody's fund. It's the national government money that is going to amend the constitution so that you can build schools, you can build classes, you can build police stations as many times as you like. But we will make sure we don't do anything outside what the national government is doing. Security and education are not devolved functions, Mr. Speaker. Counties don't do that. Will education improve if today's CDF is the police? Mr. Speaker, we are going to appeal this judgment, but we will also do a constitutional amendment. We have the powers even to amend the constitution.
In my current constituency called Elders, Mr. Speaker, through CDF is more than the combined development parliament before since we got independence, Mr. Speaker. In our place, we say CDF is our government. Applies creative minds, Mr. Speaker, and come up the framers of the current constitution. If you read Article 1, sovereignty has been equated to representation. And I've seen what CDF has done. I have represented two constituencies, Mr. Speaker. The amount, the representation development projects initiated in my former constituency, the role of the elected members of parliament, Mr. Speaker. I have one message for you. Is more than the combined development initiative. In our place, we say we entrench the NCDF in the constitution so that we entrench the NCDF. We remove it from the ambit of this rubbish one arm and completely independent entity. Completely an independent entity.
Or those
that still
the premise
of
the current constitution, Mr. Speaker.
I beg you.
Some of the functions
if you want to remain relevant,
after
this you will need a provincial administration.
Stand firm.
Because
wake up tomorrow.
covers
Put your hands together.
National
put
security.
This entity and those two functions in the constitution so that there is no room for any. They are not county functions. These are national functions. So, colleagues, if you want to remain relevant, I know it's not the ambit of the members of parliament because we have delinked NCDF from the member of parliament. It's completely an independent entity. That still is being pushed to the member of parliament. I beg you, if you want to remain relevant, if you want your position to develop, stand firm, wake up tomorrow, put your heads together, put this entity integrated in the constitution so that there is no room for any busybodies. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Has not seen the changes which CDF has really brought in this country. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, sir, my issue is to remind people that what CDF is doing in this country, I doubt if there is another fund which is doing what CDF is doing. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, with the changes, with the poor children we are taking to schools, with the schools we are changing, with the security offices we are constructing, with the administration offices we are doing in this country. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, I am so much worried. My issue is to remind people up to now they have not seen what is happening. CDF is doing in this country. I doubt if there is another fund which is because myself being the second therefore, Mr. Speaker, with the changes, with the poor children what I have done in the constituency, with the schools we are changing, with the security for the first term, offices we are constructing, the second term, with the administration offices we are doing. I'm standing here to remind our colleagues, I am so much worried that this journey, this is war now against what is happening. Mr. Speaker, sir, it is now the high time we united as members of parliament. We change even if it means changing the constitution, so that we can make sure that the CDF is well anchored in the constitution. For the first time, is what has brought me the second a lot of challenge. Therefore, Mr. Speaker, whichever time we are doing our work as members of parliament colleagues, let us unite this journey. We are not at peace because every time we are distracted by so many cases in the court. It is now the high time we united as members of parliament. As I'm saying here today, Kenyans are changing the court. Are they safe? So that we can make sure that the CDF is well anchored in the constructions of schools. Mr. Speaker, when they have seen the challenge which have challenged every time the courts, whichever time we are doing our works as members of parliament from Kenyans are constituencies, that today we are not there is peace for the CDF. Every time we are distracted by so many cases in the court. The two constituencies, let us protect here to the development. Let us fight for our children. Let us fight for the development to go to schools. Are they expecting more constructions of schools? Thank you very much. It is the challenge which I can say recently in the court. Whoever is against our development. Let me confirm that Kenyans are worried that today there is a threat for the CDF. Yes, therefore, for colleagues, please let us work the 290 constituencies. Let us protect the development. Let us fight for our children. Let us fight for the development for this constituency through CDF. Mr. Speaker, sir, thank you very much. It is for us to unite and say no to whoever is against our development matters.
Chairman, hold your horses. I've been seeing you menacing me with gestures.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I want to rise to also contribute on the judgment on NGCDF, Mr. Speaker, and to say that we cannot overemphasize the importance of NGCDF in our constituencies, Mr. Speaker. There is this notion among many people that NGCDF is pocket change for members of parliament. I want to say, Mr. Speaker, without fear or favor, I want to that if there is one fund to also contribute that there on the judgment on NGCDF, Mr. Speaker, it is NGCDF, and to say that NGCDF we cannot overemphasize the importance of NGCDF in our constituencies, Mr. Speaker. What it is supposed to there is this notion among many people that NGCDF is pocket change to the ground, for members of parliament. They have to go and see whether that classroom has been built or favor. They have to go and see whether that police station so that we bring it to this House as a standalone issue to be addressed in the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. People just generally hate members of Parliament until God knows the 2 years are over. After it has been attached in the Constitution, should be the judiciary saying as the it is unconstitutionally inside the Constitution, Mr. Speaker. Because of just the hate that this cannot be a ping-pong members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. Depending on who is on the bench, Mr. Speaker. I want to say this now that I'm on the floor, Mr. Speaker, that to remind the executive, Mr. Speaker, people just generally hate members of Parliament. Cabinet Secretary position which has not been filled in this country, Mr. Speaker. The judiciary is saying it is unconstitutionally inside the Constitution, Mr. Speaker, because of just the hate people have towards members of Parliament, Mr. Speaker. And it is to say I want to say this now that I'm on the floor, Mr. Speaker, to remind the executive, Mr. Speaker, that there is one cabinet secretary position which has not been filled in this country, that has not been filled in this country, and I want to remind the executive, just in case they have forgotten, we do not have the cabinet secretary of gender and affirmative